That face, that CoverGirl face. It glows, it shows, that clean makeup face.
Hey, this is Mike from Junkion Crafts and Builds, and this is the impressions video of G.I. Joe Classified Series Courtney CoverGirl Krieger. So, looking at the box real quick, you can see that we have this nice artwork on the windowless package that Hasbro decided that everyone will love no matter what. But it's a really cool image. It's kind of different than what we see with the other ones. I know they try to feature different artists and different styles. This is a very cartoony, anime looking image here. But we have CoverGirl atop the Wolverine. This is the vehicle that she's always been associated with in the comics and in the cartoon. She is number 59 for those who care. On the side we have this same image, a little close-up of her face and body. On the back we have a digital render of CoverGirl and her accessories. And finally on the other side we have her stats if you care about those, and again she's number 59. So that's the box. Let's get her open and see what's inside. Out of the packaging we have CoverGirl packaged in her cardboard coffin. I've gone ahead and removed the ties that will go around her arms and her legs. So now that's being said, let's get her out of the way and let's focus on the accessories that come in this, usual ammo box, Foot Locker, or G.I. Joe thingy. Starting from left to right, we're going to go with her service pistol. It's not bad of a sculpt here. We have silver across the top of the gun. We are blast effect compatible. If you could zoom in here and see. Sorry. There we go. Trust me, it's blast effect compatible. Then we have her shotgun. Again, black with a green accent. Mine is not bent, thankfully. And this also is blast effect compatible. Next we have her tablet, which has a tamper-graphed image of the Wolverine on it. And you can see that it's keyed here in the back, and I'll show you why when we get to the figure. Finally, what's CoverGirl G.I. Joe's mechanic without a wrench? And it is simply a black wrench. No deco on it or anything, just a plastic black wrench. That's everything. Let's go ahead and get to the figure. Now we have CoverGirl out of the box, let's talk about the character. Courtney grew up in Peoria, Illinois, and became a fashion model at the age of 17, and participated in many shoots across the United States. But over time, Courtney's interest in the modeling world waned, as the shallow lifestyles lost their meaning to her. To find something else in the world, she enlisted in the military, and found a new focus through her training at Fort Knox's Armor School. Her primary MOS was a motor transport and armor operator, with a secondary MOS in armored fighting vehicles, or AFV mechanics. So besides her mechanical prowess, she's also responsible for piloting the vehicles and transporting personnel and cargo for G.I. Joe missions. She always works against her looks to prove her skills, which is one of the reasons she worked to master in an unfeminine job. In her 2006 and 2013 bio cards, she's quoted as saying, "People realize I'm more than a pretty face when they bring up a busted up vehicle and I give it back to them running smoothly." There have been 4 versions of the CoverGirl that has been released by Hasbro, for the classified one we have right in front of us. Her classic look was part of the 83 wave, which she was packaged with the vehicle that she is synonymous with, the Wolverine missile tank. The pair was sold in 1983 and 1984, and their set was discontinued in 1985. Her second figure was part of a 3-pack direct-to-consumer and Toys R Us release, which was based on a fan's choice favorite for the Image and Devil's Due run of G.I. Joe. Her next version was released in 2009 to coincide with the G.I. Joe The Rise of Cobra movie. In this version, she portrayed more of an intelligence officer than the typical mechanical specialist that we know her for. Her last release was in 2013 as a G.I. Joe Collectors Club subscription service release. Her first comic appearance was in Marvel's G.I. Joe issue number 16, where she demonstrated her vehicle skills by destroying 8 HISS tanks in a training exercise, and later deployed to the United States Capitol to protect it against Cobra. In the Sunbow cartoon, CoverGirl showed up as a blonde in the 1983 miniseries, but in subsequent episodes, like Arise, Serpentor Arise miniseries, and in G.I. Joe the movie, she was back to her familiar looks with her auburn hair. So that's a little bit of a history of CoverGirl. So let's look ahead at this classified figure.
He doesn't look good, Doc. Is he going to make it?
His vital signs are weak, CoverGirl, but Duke's no ordinary man. Full emergency team ready.
Good boy. Liquid can filter fumes.
Oh, Joe!
Keep a sharp eye peeled for shipwreck and Cobra.
Come back, you scurvy hounds!
So now that we talked about the character, let's talk about this classified figure. Oh, as you can tell, she's been decoed and sculpted to be a familiar and modernized homage to her vintage one. We have the sculpt here on the face. When I saw this, I was a little taken back with the renders because I thought the lips were too pronounced. But having her in hand and looking at her now, she's not that bad at all. The hair has a nice wash in with it. You can't tell because of the lights, but you can kind of see the distinction between her locks. Her eyes here have a little bit of makeup on, as well as a little bit of color to her cheeks. Her lips, not as pronounced as the renders had them, but nicely decoed with lipstick. We have the classic looking jacket here with a texture kind of look like leather. And we have a nice fur lined collar. Here's the back, it's textured as well. And we have a greenish brown paint deco here on the back. This is a pliable plastic. So show there with a sculpt on her chest. Arms can go up to a T. We have bicep rotation. Now this arm, I've had a little bit of a QC worry. As you can see here, it kind of wiggles a little bit inside there. So I might need to heat that up and see if I can get that a little more secure. Help tighten that joint up a little bit kiki or something. We have double jointed elbows here, pinless, 4. And we have her trigger finger or trigger hand, and it goes in and out on this side. On this side we have the same articulation, only this hand goes up and down. Okay, so that's good. We have a free floating belt that has some sculpted in equipment pouches. And then we have a slot for her wrench to go in. And we also have a leg holster for her tablet. And what I was saying earlier about the little notch on the back of the tablet also applies here. You see the notch on the bottom, and then that's how it's going to be aligned to go inside. We have a khaki brown pants. The legs bulge a little bit, but not too bad. You can get her legs up that far, back that far. We have double jointed knees. I get her about to there because of the sculpt. We have boot swivel. Mine's a little tight on this leg. And then we have ankle rotation. We have a little bit up, a little bit down. It's a little tight. See how we get on this one. It's about there. So that's the articulation and looks for her. So let's just go ahead and get her all geared up. So we'll take the wrench, slide it in the back here. And again, aligning with the bottom of that holder. It goes in like that. Her pistol slides right into the holster without a problem. Nice tolerance. Let's get her shotgun in place here. And again, there's another issue. If you start bending it around a lot, it starts to come a little loose. So again, be careful when you're manipulating her. I'm doing a little bit of a bad job here because I'm behind the camera, but there she is, all geared up. So let's go ahead and do some comps. And here we are with some quick comparisons for CoverGirl with a Valorverse Bloody Pandora and the G.I. Joe Snake Eyes movie Scarlet. What I find interesting is just looking at the sculpts between Scarlet and CoverGirl, and noting that there's not really more than like a year difference between these two releases, and just the engineering differences is kind of just wild in regards to Scarlett's single jointed elbows and just the real small look to her and kind of the plainness versus CoverGirl's detail in regards, like, just like I said, the shirt, the texture of the jacket. You can tell a world of difference between them. And again, Valor versus sculpt and details are tough to beat, and especially with articulation and standing. I was having a bit of a time getting CoverGirl to stand straight as I've been manipulating her right leg has been a little loose. Like I said, there's some female figures. Let's look at some male figures. And here she is next to a Valorverse male figure with a blowback, and another G.I. Joe Classified with breaker. As you can see, the Valorverse guys are just a smidge taller. Obviously they all fit in the same size and sculpt wise world here, so you're not really going to go wrong incorporating them into your collection. So final impressions of G.I. Joe Classified Series number 59, CoverGirl. I don't mind her. Of this wave, she was my most anticipated figure to get. Overall, I'm not disappointed with her. There are a couple things of concern in the direction of how Classified is going to go. In regards to QC for my figure, I have issues with the arms that, like I said, I'm going to try to heat up a little bit and see if I can put a little kiki in there to tighten them up a little bit. Base sculpt is not bad. It's better than what I hoped it would be. Accessories are adequate at best. Thankfully, with putting everything inside these little foot lockers and stuff, they're not getting all bent and warped like my Recondo and Outback. If you can find her when she and the rest of the wave are released, I would definitely get her. She's a good addition to your Classified collection. So that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoy the pictures at the end. And if you're curious about this right here, I will have a junk pile video about this 3D print, but you'll have to subscribe and click the bell for notifications so you'll know when I put this video out. That's it. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon.